Well, I think that very often people who aren't used to working in the grill are intimidated by the idea of it. But I always try to tell people to think of it in much simpler terms than, you know, how am I going to fuel this fire and how am I going to tame the flames and all that, you know. I always tell people to think of it as burners with just a grill on top of it, because basically that's what it is. I mean, and you're creating heat and you're just cooking on top of it. And I think that what happens is people, well, first of all, getting the grill lit is a very simple thing if you have the right tools. I mean, if you're going to use hardwood or charcoal, you should definitely have a chimney starter. You know, no lighter fluid, just, you know, some newspaper and a chimney starter, and then just, you know, put the charcoal or the hardwood charcoal into the chimney starter and light it. And in about 10 to 15 minutes, you'll have perfect heat, and then you just, you know, put it into the grill. Obviously, gas grills are even easier. You press a few knobs, turn a few buttons, and you have perfect even heat. But when you're cooking on the grill, I always tell people that you actually have to let the grill do its job. And what I mean by that is, you know, you take the piece of meat or fish or whatever you're cooking, you know, you season it however you're going to season it, make sure you oil it correctly, and make sure that the heat is high enough, and then you put it on the grill, and then you leave it alone. And I think the most common mistake for people who are concerned that if it's going to stick is they check too early to see if it's going to stick, and then it sticks. You have to let it actually come away from the grill, and the only way you're going to do that is if you just leave it alone. And so that's, to me, that's the best advice I can give to somebody who hasn't grilled before. I don't necessarily know exactly what they do, but I know what their dish is. So if it's eggplant parmesan, then I go into the Food Network test kitchen with my two assistants, Stephanie and Miriam, and we kind of kick the tires with the ingredients and try to create, you know, the dish. I have a lot of them. I mean, you know, Wolfgang Puck is probably my sort of hero in the food world. I think that he really, about 20-something years, 25 years ago, I think that he changed the way that we looked at food in this country. I think he revolutionized what good food could be, and did it in a way that we really were able to take notice in this country, so that like all good food didn't just have to be French fancy food. It could be, you know, very whimsical and very American, actually. I think it's interesting that an Austrian guy had to tell us that, but that's the way it is. He's awesome. And and then I get inspired by wherever I go. I mean, somebody asked me yesterday how I get my ideas and inspirations, and a lot of it is through travel and meeting people and eating in their restaurants or eating in their homes. Whenever I travel somewhere, I always have something to bring back to my restaurants.